Hi, I'm Joe Polizzi, and this is the Content Inc. podcast. 5 minutes every Monday for content creators who desire to be content entrepreneurs. Typically with podcast ads, there's a coupon code used to track engagement. You may have noticed the Lulu ads on this podcast haven't provided any codes at all. That's because creating an account and using Lulu is absolutely free. On top of publishing for free, you're on track to earn more, as books are among the top 3 most profitable tactics to monetize your content. Turning your content into a printed book with Lulu has never been easier. Create a free account today at lulu.com. You know, it amazes me how even experienced content creators sometimes forget the basics. I know it happens to me all the time. Whether it's a blog, a podcast, or a newsletter that goes on for years, sometimes we lose focus of the objective and even the core audience. But don't let that happen to you. Here are a few questions that, by answering, I believe, can turn around your content in a heartbeat. What's your content's purpose? You'd be surprised how many people don't know what the ultimate goal is for their blog or their podcast or their YouTube channel. Let's say it's your blog. Is it more for findability and search engine optimization to drive your newsletter subscriptions? For your podcast, is it a customer loyalty play where you know that the more customers or subscribers that listen to your podcast, the more apt they are to buy from you? So whatever you're doing, whether it's Instagram or TikTok or newsletter, you should have a tangible primary goal and a way you can measure it. Meaningful data coming from your analytics or perhaps email addresses or your SEO ranking are all solid places to start. The next question is, who is your audience? I know, really simple, right? But at most, you should have 2, possibly 3 buyer personas that you'll target with your compelling storytelling. Better yet, you should have one description in front of you at all times about who your core reader is. For example, when I started blogging about content marketing years ago, my description for my content marketing blog was a marketing professional responsible for the corporate content production process in some way. That kept my content focused and on target. And before I wrote an article, I always asked whether that person would get significant value from what I was writing. And keep in mind that this changes over time. When the market became muddy with competitors and reams of content, I switched from a marketing professional to a marketing professional at a mid-market size company or larger, and focused more of my content on complex content challenges instead of starter issues or questions a small business might ask. So now's a good time to take a look at that. The next question, do you have a headline editor? Bar none, the most important aspect of your content is the headline. The headline is like a cover of a magazine. Its only purpose is to be opened. Well, the only purpose for a blog headline is to be clicked on, or YouTube, or even this podcast. I've seen the greatest content in the world go silent because the headline was horrible. Now do this. For your editorial calendar, include a space right next to the headline for your main keyword. That main keyword, for example, newsletter growth strategies, which should be part of the answer your readers are looking for in the content and be the main keyword someone would type into a search engine or maybe even ChatGPT. Keeping that top of mind will make all the difference. And the last one I wanted to add here because I just had this discussion with a very successful content entrepreneur. Who has the money to drive your content business? In this particular conversation, they presented an amazing plan and strategy for becoming the informational resource for a particular group. I listened, and then I had to tell the truth. While I loved the strategy, and I didn't know where the money was coming from. The target audience simply didn't have the money to support the initiative, and this wasn't a group of people that I believe sponsors would support as well. I told them, and in the end, if this is a hobby or a nonprofit initiative, then it's wonderful. But if you want to make money, you might need to reevaluate the audience. Perhaps you have this problem as well. So that's it. 4 questions. What's your content's purpose? Who is your audience? And reevaluate this if it's been some time. Do you have a headline editor? Now, I know this can be you, but somebody needs to focus on this. And can your audience support your content business? If you enjoyed this podcast, please take a minute and give it a review on Apple or Spotify. Thanks for listening, and I'll talk to you next Monday.